and welcome everybody. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with the Savvy Sagittarius October Horoscope. What a big month we've got coming up this month. There's so much happening. Where do I start? There's solar eclipse in Scorpio on the 25th for a start. We have Mercury that is finally turning direct, so some of those misunderstandings and miscommunications should be sorted out. There's a little period when planets turn direct or go retrograde. There's a thing called a shadow period when the energy's sort of coming on or going off. So we've still got probably a week either side of the dates that I give you where there's some influence, but it'll be getting weaker and weaker by the day. So that'll be Mercury turning direct will be either the 2nd or the 3rd, depending on where you are in the world. In Australia and New Zealand, it's on the 3rd. Also, we have Jupiter and Mars turning retrograde at the end of the month. So some areas of your life may slow down, or you internalize the energy perhaps. But it is a big month for your spirituality, Savvy Sag. There's so much going on in your 12th house. Now, just to briefly explain, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. Because often they work in very well with the horoscope. Okay, here they are. I'll shuffle them up. And if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you very much. I would appreciate that. Okay, so let's go to the board and have a look and see what these cards have to say before we come to your horoscope here. And there's a bit I need to talk about. But firstly, the cards. So the first card, the first half of the month, closing my eyes, I like to have a little vision first. Paperwork, a lot of paperwork here. I see piles of it actually. It might be a good time to, get on top of it. Perhaps you've been putting things off and not doing your paperwork. Or it could also mean messages from spirit, and maybe you've been distracted or haven't been paying attention. But this month that'll be sort of solved because there's so much going on here. You're going to get those messages. The card that comes up is the Sun. This is all about insight and awareness. So you're going to have some quite brilliant flashes. Helping you become more aware, getting you in touch with what direction you're supposed to go in life, okay? And the Sun will be going into your 12th house as well, illuminating you via your intuition and, improving your psychic ability. It's also, in astrology, the Sun's also about comfort and security and happiness. So, fabulous. The second half of the month, let's have a look. What do I see for you, Savvy Sag? I actually see the moon, so it's like the masculine energy of doing, getting stuff done, and the feminine energy of being open, being receptive, okay? The moon, that one comes out. And it's the 10 of Cups. So this is all about nurturing, kindness, very feminine sort of energy, motherhood in particular, rearing and caring for children. See the rocking horse down here, home and half. So you could be balancing your external world and your internal world, the male and the female, the being receptive and the being more outgoing and doing stuff in the outside world, okay, the male and the female. All right, let's put these cards here. The Sun is actually a major arcana card, so fairly important. And often we find that the cards relate to the horoscope as we go along. All right, let's make this bigger, like that, and then we'll go like that. And that way you'll be able to see a little bit better. So much happening here. Firstly, you'll be noticing this red box, okay? This is called a Grand Cross. It's only for a few hours on the 1st of the month because we have the moon, and the moon will be here in your sign. So it could be some intense feelings. There could be some challenges around your career or your reputation, because there's a square there and there's another square here. There's 4 squares. Relationships, these are the significant, important relationships. Neptune here in your house of home and family. And also, because this is on the 30th of September if you're in Australia, or the 3rd if you're elsewhere, because Australia and New Zealand are ahead in time basically. You might find that for those few hours it is quite intense, especially with Mercury retrograde, okay, and then Mercury turning direct, as I said before, on the 2nd or the 3rd. So yeah, it could be quite an intense time for you. Probably a good time to stay home, not do too much if you can help it, or it's probably not a good time to make important decisions or sign contracts, for example, or agreements. Then the other thing is Saturn and Pluto are turning direct. A solar eclipse in Scorpio here in your 12th house, illuminating what's going on and giving you more knowledge and insight about your subconscious, and Jupiter and Mars also going retrograde on the 28th and the 30th of the month. All right, let's have a look now at your horoscope in depth. Mercury is opposition Neptune from the 29th of September to the 4th of October. Really one of the most difficult times, or the least favourable times, to make a decision or sign a contract. It's not a good time for travelling. You could be a bit fuzzy in your thinking, or maybe even get confused. There could be something in the trip where there's some sort of delay, or you're not sure where you are, or something like that. On the upside, because there's always an upside, your imagination's likely to be quite active. Very good for artists or musicians or creative people. And then Mars is opposition the Moon from the 3rd to the 10th of October. Watch this one, because this can stir up impatience and irritability. Mars is pushing you forward to achieve something, but the Moon prefers privacy and, you know, dealing with feelings and things like that. So just watch for irritability and impatience, and incidents as well. Incidents or even accidents. Probably more incidents with that one, I think. 5th to the 8th, Mercury trines Pluto. Mercury is now direct, and this brings great depth to your conversations. You might find that you hear secrets, people's secrets, or they confess something to you, or, you know, it's like you get right down to very deep levels in conversations. It's a great time to solve a problem, a mystery, or something that's very complex. You might also find something that's been hidden or lost. The 9th sees the Hunter's full moon. It's in Aries here in your 5th house, bringing a lot of spontaneity, leisure and pleasure. It's in your entertainment zone, but this is also about creativity and romance, so things get a bit of a shake-up there. There's some rumblings within. Maybe you've decided, or you realise that you haven't been having the romance or the pleasure that you would like to have, and so, you know, there might be some rumblings about that. Children, if you have kids around you, you might find that children also bring issues. They're uncooperative, or, you know, maybe the responsibility of looking after them is weighing heavy. The 10th sees Mercury entering Libra up here in the 11th house, affecting your friends, groups and connections, and there's bound to be a lot of communications and ideas about going out or associating with these people. And it can also affect your hopes and dreams as well, and how you want to manifest your hopes and dreams. The 10th to the 13th, the Sun trines Saturn. This is fabulous for detailed, complex work, or that type of work where you put it off because it's tedious, or, you know, you just don't want to do arduous work. And so it's like you've got pinpoint laser efficiency, and you can get to that job and you have the self-control and discipline to actually achieve what you want to do. You're likely to put your affairs in order, and you can tackle mundane chores and practical business now and get that paperwork done. The 8th to the 18th, Mars squares Neptune. Watch this again, because Neptune is a very spiritual sort of energy, but again, sometimes it's a bit like walking in a fog and you're not sure what your direction is. You could get lost, or you could feel confused, or you're not sure which direction you should go in. It's time to be gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself too much, but Mars will be pushing you to do more. Or as I said, it's like the focus is on the future. It's better to become grounded in present reality now. It's fabulous for your imagination though, and you might have all sorts of fantasies or strange desires, and that's okay. Write them all down in a book. If you're an artist, it's a very inspired, fertile time, so that's good news. Mars is squaring Mercury from the 11th to the 22nd, so this also brings irritability and frustration, impatience. Just really make sure you have your brain in gear before you open your mouth, because it's almost like your mouth opens and it's just a stream of consciousness that flows out regardless. There's no censoring, what you're saying, which is more or less me when I do readings or, even here on YouTube, So do try to think before you speak if you can manage it. So it's also good not to move too quickly or abruptly. Mars will be sort of pushing you, but yeah, take a deep breath and slow down. Otherwise, headaches could result. 17th to the 12th of November, your ruler, Jupiter, trines your ascendant. And this is very important for you because Jupiter is your ruler. It's a great time to express yourself. You're likely to have more confidence now, be more optimistic and a bit adventurous as well. And people sort of are more likely to respect you, and you win their admiration in some way. It's a great time to promote your ideas and your plans. If you believe in something, it's like you'll have extra energy to go out there in the world and do it. It's like other people sort of go along with you, more or less. And they might even help you too. The 23rd of October, Venus enters Scorpio here in your 12th house, bringing a lovely, smooth-flowing, gracious sort of energy, or could be some sort of thing around relationships or love. Venus loves love, and you might have some loving sort of feelings or dreams coming up. The only thing with Venus here in the 12th house is sometimes you get feelings for somebody that's not available to you, so just watch that. And you have to, use a lot of discretion and care in those situations. Then we have, and with Venus in Scorpio, it's like times 10, like the desires, the Venusian desire in Scorpio is particularly intense and strong. So it's almost like you might walk into a room and see someone and lock eyes and be instantly smitten by them. But yeah, they may not be available, so just bear that in mind. Then we have the Sun also entering this party here. There's so much going on here, bringing insight and awareness, so you'll work things out, and you might find your psychic ability or your intuition, if you have any, which I reckon most people do, then it'll be on fire. We have the eclipse also happening there, bringing new beginnings around your spirituality, intuition and other spiritual gifts. And you have some realizations that are about to be illuminated, and then you can make them physical. Soon you'll have more energy and you'll be able to go out into the world with them. You could be feeling quite inspired as well. On the 28th, Jupiter retrograde in Pisces, here in your 4th house of home and family, joining Neptune, and you might make your home like a spiritual retreat or more like a sanctuary in some way. But Jupiter retrograde isn't a bad thing. Sometimes we think of the retrograding planets as being sort of negative. It's not. It just means that things quieten down, or that you internalize the feelings around that planet. And with Jupiter, it could bring some realism around your home and family life. Normally there's a lot of confidence, and Jupiter tends to be very exuberant and sometimes overconfident, and this just puts things into perspective around home and family for you. So I think it's actually quite a good thing. You might want to be around your home. You could have less contact with your family for a little bit, and it's just not the right time maybe to share some ideas that you might have now, but the right time will come. The 29th sees Mercury entering the party here as well in the 12th house, so lots of communications and ideas about your spirituality and lots of activity. And the 30th sees Mars retrograde up here in your 7th house, which is basically about your important committed relationships. Sometimes it's legalities or people that you don't get on with. If there's someone you don't get on with Mars there, then you'll probably find it's just, if there's been a situation, it calms down and you're not as angry, or they're not as angry as what they were before. It's a bit of a time for self-reflection about reflection about your relationships, reassessing your relationships, basically the important ones anyway. Do watch for unnecessary arguments, impatience or irritability regarding relationships though. All right, so that's it, everyone. I hope this is useful for you. Thanks very much for watching, Savvy Sagittarius. Leave a like or a comment or share on your socials. That would be fabulous. But most importantly, have a wonderful month, and I'll see you all again soon. If you're new, subscribe and be alive. Hit the notification bell. Okay, thank you. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.